The British Prime Minister suddenly noticed that the man in front of him was acting strange. Before he could move, the man suddenly launched a deadly attack, and several bodyguards, caught off guard, were killed on the spot. The man immediately turned and lunged at the two heads of state.
Mr. President, sir!
The bodyguards quickly pushed both of them into the safe house with all their strength. At the same time, Air Force One was under a deadly siege by drones. One engine was damaged and lost power. The pilot quickly activated the defense system and fired wildly at the incoming drones, but the other side was already prepared, and more drones launched a saturation attack. By then, only two engines were still working normally. After another drone hit, the cabin suddenly lost pressure, and strong winds raged inside. The two heads of state clung tightly to their seats, barely escaping the fate of being sucked out by the pressure difference. In the emergency, the pilot immediately activated the emergency plan, rapidly lowering altitude to stabilize cabin pressure. However, a new wave of drones swarmed in, so the pilot took a desperate gamble and fired flares to disrupt the enemy's lock-on. The last remaining engine could no longer support the huge aircraft, so the bodyguard made a quick decision and led the heads of state to the escape pod, since the plane's crash was already certain. Making videos isn't easy, so could you do me a favor and hit that like button? Thanks. But the killer was one step ahead, skillfully typing in the code to open the emergency cabinet. He took out a parachute, then lit a flare and tossed it into the cabinet, setting the remaining parachutes on fire. As soon as the killer escaped the plane, the bodyguard arrived with the two heads of state, grabbed two unburned parachutes from the cabinet, and stuffed them into the hands of the terrified leaders. Checking the map, they realized they were in Belarusian airspace, but there was no time to worry in a life or death moment. The bodyguard told them to cross the border after landing and head to the CIA's safe house in Poland. It was their only chance to survive. Then he pushed them out firmly. Almost at the same time, a drone crashed into the cockpit. In the violent explosion, another engine fell off. After a heart-stopping free fall, both heads of state successfully opened their parachutes, drifted gently with the wind, and finally landed safely without incident. The burning Air Force One soon plummeted to the ground, turning into a huge fireball.